Hey guys, Matt Bonner here. This is going to be a video that describes, kind of the basics of designing really big cubes, or just bigger cubes in general, anywhere from 4x4 up to infinity by infinity, so everything in between. This is just going to be pretty generic. So I'm going to assume you already watched my full tutorial series on how to design twisty puzzles in SolidWorks, because you have to start there before you get here. This video also doesn't have same features, it doesn't show which buttons I'm pressing, so it just assumes you know what I'm doing. Um, yeah, I'm already kind of, I'll just delete this. I'm already kind of started here. I already designed a cube. Basically, it's a 100mm cube based on the origin. See it before. And the first thing you want to do is go normal to the front face and you make a sketch on it. I'm just going to edit this sketch. And what you do is you make a bunch of lines across here. You start here, you draw a line all the way across. This is 17 by 17, so you draw 17 segments, and what you do is you click on these two edges, the two outers, you make them equal, and then you select all of these, and you make these equal. So you click on them, you press E to make them equal. You can see over here it says equal length. And what that does is that allows you to adjust, that thickness of the outer layer, because if you're aware with big cubes, the thickness, the outer layer has to be thicker than the inner layers. There's definitely a TP post that explains this. Twisty Puzzles forum is great for knowing things about designing puzzles. But I mean, I'll just kind of try and explain it now, because say it were proportional. Say it was like this. All right, every piece is the same width. What happened is when you cut the thing, like you'd sort of roll this and split it. Some people have emailed me about this too, and they're like, why is this corner not staying on? It's because if you were to turn the face halfway, the corner would be hanging off, and it's not touching anything. And if you think about it, if you turn it all three ways, this corner has to be completely isolated. It's a cube. It can't hold on. You need the corner pieces to stay. So what you do is you make the outer layer thicker. That makes the proportions so that it can work. Yeah, so you want this outer layer to be a little less than, sorry, a little more than 1/6 of the length of the whole cube. So this is 100mm. So you take 100, you divide it by 6, you get, I believe, 16.6. So we're gonna just always round up. So we're gonna make this, add like a millimeter. We'll make this 18, and then the corner can stay. So this is the first sketch you make. You save this sketch. Then you're going to make a sketch over that sketch. And what we're going to do is we're going to design a 5x5. Now there's a lot of different mechanisms you can use for cubes, and some mechanisms work better than others. There's a link in the description to a TP thread that goes over a lot of basic mechanisms. All of them are viable for big cubes. I'm just going to start with a V-cube mechanism. Definitely read about them, because if you are interested in making big cubes, they matter. I'm going to assume you know how to do this. Notice right now I'm making this line here point towards the origin. You would say this line and the origin coincide. That's just a mathematical term for, they're on the same line. Because this is on a line that this is also on. What you can do is you can click on this, you can click on the origin, and then you see this here, it says make coincide. And then notice when you click on this, it says coincident. So it coincides the origin. Every time you click on a point, it shows all of the limitations to it. Notice you move this around, it's always pointing at the origin. I like to have angled lines coincident with the origin. If you do that, it'll always maintain proportions, and you won't have any weird intersections. If it ever intersects weird with another line, it's not coincident to the origin, you might get something weird. So the basic way it works is it kind of sticks out like that. The way I showed in the other video, rather than doing that, it kind of just goes in. So you'd call that linear mech, where just basically each piece, this hooks in this line comes down, hooks in, this one goes below that. You'll see it later. I'll show just a V-cube mechanism, even though it's patented. I'm assuming you're not using it for any commercial reasons. Here, you see how I made this line vertical? It's pretty important. If you're going to make it like this, what would happen is this piece here would end in a point, which you don't want. Because when you fill it, it'll get weird. That's not really too important. But even if it's like really thin, that's good. Even if it's like this, it's still good. You need it to be down a little bit. This doesn't really need to be coincided to the origin. I guess you can make it. It'll make you have a nice pretty corner stock. Actually, I don't know. No, let's not make this definitely don't make this coincided to the origin. Alright, so that's just like a basic 5x5. So we got a corner, edge, center. Notice proportions are weird. This is like on the center piece here. You go straight up, it's in the middle piece. And then this is on the outer layer. But the reason we're doing it like a 5x5 is so we're going to cut it like a 5x5 and basically just make a giant 5x5. And then we're going to delete the pieces we don't need, and then split it again into the pieces we do need. This saves a lot of, you don't want to have a lot of pieces, right? Like when you split it, what, 17 by 17 has 1,500 some pieces. So, I mean, obviously, SolidWorks will crap out on you if you try splitting that many pieces, so you can't, right? I'm just going to go through this quick. You know how to do this, you saw my tutorials. So I'm just going to split all of these into a 5x5. Selected bodies. Here. 5x5 has 99 parts, so what you can do is scroll around, see 99 right here. That's good. The reason we do this also is so we know that the corner stalks are there. Because if the corner it cannot function, then I mean the whole thing can't. Then you have to like look back, see what you did wrong. So there's a lot of mechanisms you can use. I know I posted the link in the description. Certain mechanisms are good for certain things. Certain mechanisms haven't even been tried yet. It's good to get creative with them. The V-cube mechanism is typically thought to be good with, smaller, higher order puzzles. So like up to 11 by 11. It's good for layer alignment. Pretty much the best option for like a speed cube. If you're trying to build something, just for magnitude, pure magnitude, for stability and functionality, floating anchor has proven to work well. There's also been other things attempted. I know Oscar made a 17 by 17 attempt. That didn't work. He used a mechanism, I don't want to say it was binary. I don't know, there's a lot of mechanisms, and definitely like my Examinx uses something pretty unique. So, Examinx, not Yodaminx, the first Examinx I made. Really, so it's all about experimentation. Not much stuff has been tried because prototyping large cubes is very expensive. But there are things that need to be tried. Alright, so now what we're going to do is delete all but one of each piece. So I'm going to press X and delete all of these pieces around here. So now these are all the ones I want to keep. Oops. So I'm going to delete all of these. Yeah. Definitely, if you want to design like a really, really, really huge cube, and you're actually considering prototyping it. There are certain things that are tough on big cubes, like tricky, like tolerances can be pretty tricky to get right on big cubes. Filling there are certain, things that can make it better. I'll go through all the tips, I can think of. This video might require some editing, which I don't like doing, but I gotta have a sphere in the middle, whatever. You know how to make a core. Alright, so this works. Now we have a 5x5 done. What we want to do is you go to the front plane again, shift section. We got these pieces, and on this front plane we're going to start with a sketch. And what you're doing is basically sketching the cross section of all the other pieces. Now for a V mech, we would go down and make, an arc out like this way. Oops. Come down like this. V mech. Take some practice. But this is what the basic mech looks like. And then from here on out, it's pretty much the same thing. So this is the one genuine thing that Verda's patented. When you think about what his patent really is, it's really just a cross-section. He patented this rail here, plus these little notches on top of a linear mech. It's very, very similar to Isshin's. If you really want to argue for or against V-cubes, designing is the best way to fully understand, what's genuine to their mechanism. And I'm not going to say my opinions because I know it's a very heated topic. A lot of people are fighting over it. What's fair? Do I think if someone, tried suing V-cubes, or not suing, or maybe suing, I don't know correctly the term. Do I think if someone tried suing V-cubes because, their patents are too generic, I wouldn't be surprised if they won, but who am I to say? Because patents, there are very specific patent laws, and this might not be too generic. Who knows? It's easy though to overcomplicate mechanisms because a lot of them can look the same. Okay, notice here this line is a little too high, so I'm going to just save this, go back to sketch, go back here, just make this a little longer. Yeah. There's all these other types that you can do. Now, usually in big cubes, I would say there's a different way you can tolerance big cubes, and I'll show you now. Put your tolerances in the cross sections. Oh, notice sometimes this happens all the time, so it works. If you try and make an arc too short, like this, watch, it'll just disappear. They'll think you did it accidentally, which I mean is nice if you accidentally click, but we don't want that, obviously. It's really a pain in the butt, but I haven't really thought of a way to overcome it. There might be some, setting hidden that you can, figure out how it works. But it's easy to make the arc longer and then shrink it down. No, I don't know. Something I've never really bothered to figure out. Maybe one of you can figure out and tell me. Alright. I'll show you how to design tolerances after this. After I'm done the cross section. Forgot again. Starting program. Sometimes they call it solid doesn't work. Once made a TP post about that and a bunch of people got pretty annoyed. SolidWorks is a beautiful tool. There we go. Alright, this cross section is finished. So, now for designing tolerances. Now, you could do it the traditional way that I showed you in the other video, but that's not fun. It's not easy. So I'll show you a nice, easy way to do it for big cubes. This can get messy though, so bear with me. Here's what you gotta do. The same thing applies. If you were to take this piece and rip it upwards, what would hit? Well, you get this line hits here, this line hits here. So what you gotta do is, this line hits there. Even though this isn't part of the master sketch. What you gotta do is you gotta take out those sections of this piece. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna go a little line down here, then you're gonna draw an arc from here to there. Let's cube down here. Just make this arc from here to there. You might have to make this one line. So, because sometimes it gets annoyed. And make this and this coincident. Look at that. So, you dimension this to your tolerances. Let's make this 0.1 or something. Oops. Sorry, anchor this first, and then make this 0.1. And I guess you gotta bring this down. There you go. So when you do the tolerances, basically this piece doesn't. Yeah, that's a small tolerance. Let's make this 0.2. This whole section, it'll create this little body, little shard of bodies, and you just go back and you delete them all. So you basically do that for every piece. So this one would have it here. I'm not going to draw it all out. This one would have it here. But yeah, that's pretty much tolerancing. There are certain techniques that you may or may not agree with. I'm just going to edit this sketch. So you do the same thing like this. Well, I'm not going to go through, shelling and then filleting, but I mean that's basic tolerances for them. Take this, revolve it around this axis, and then pattern it around here. Bodies, I'm just going to go up here and select them all. Then you do split it, and for our trim tools, obviously, and there might be pulled up. There might be here. What we did when we made that tolerance is it created another surface body that's not really visible, I think, so we're just going to have to select these, all of those, and definitely, hold on. Yeah, select this. There's another body in there. Let's try and find it. Just bear with me. Oh. This one. See how it's internal? Selected bodies, we're going to select this one, and this one, and this one. So we don't want to split the edge, the corner, or the center. Cut them. And notice there's only 80 parts, so It's a lot less than there were. If you ever do consider prototyping something really big, I mean, you don't have to, but I recommend you run it by someone who's built something pretty big. Because there are flaws you might make, and it's expensive. It costs a lot of money to prototype something big, and you need all the advice you can get, because it's better to learn from someone else's failures than to learn from your own. I guess it's not always better, but I mean, it helps to see, like, I might say, oh, you did something that I did, and that'll make it lock up. Yeah. Also, Oscar had a lot of good advice for me when I made my Yoda Minx, especially with tolerance. He knew what he was doing with tolerances. I'm not as good as him with tolerances. He 3D prints so many things. Look here, now you've got your own 17 by 17, so you can go ahead and delete all of these. We don't need these because you can mirror them later. There's a mirror feature. So don't design mirrors. I don't know how far you guys have gotten in designing, but oh, look at this. See these? This is from the tolerance we did earlier. So we go back, we can just delete all of these bodies too. That's essentially what a tolerance is, right? I'm not gonna bother, getting them all, but yeah, here's our VMech. I don't know how well this would work. There are other options. You could put another rail here, or I don't know. If you also notice, this corner stalk is pretty big. So what you could do is you could go back here to Sketch 4. Nope, not Sketch 4. This sketch, and make this 18 like, I don't know, just make it 16. Let's see how that works. See how that made that thinner? It's all about space efficiency. And you see how that's fat at the bottom? Some of this fatness could be used to, increase the thickness of some of these pieces. And you need all the thickness you can get. So you can come back to Sketch 4 and make this, more N. Let's see what it's like if it's coincided to the origin. I wonder what will happen. Oh, look at that. Now it's a very thin corner stalk, and you notice this piece here is fat. It's all about tweaks. And you gotta tweak it perfectly till things are even. If you notice, all of these layers are different thicknesses. That's not good. You would want them all to be the same thickness. You'd want this rail to be as thick as everything else. You don't want this piece to be real fat, all this one's skinny. It's all about proportioning. You want proportions to be even. Because it's not just about splitting the parts. Because I've seen people send me cross sections and it's like, yeah, you've got the right thing designed, but it's got issues. It's not going to be what you want it to be. It's not going to fulfill the end goal. Something that you could actually prototype. So this is how you design, I guess, odd layer cubes. Definitely check out that link. If there's anything you didn't like about this video, I know I kind of made it in a hurry. It's like 1 a.m. right now, and I'm going off to school in a couple days. So, I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going right now with this video. I'm not going to edit it. You can just watch it from start to finish. Hopefully I'll have more of these soon. My SolidWorks Student Edition runs out soon, but I think I can get it at MIT. Actually, I know I can, but yeah, for now, thanks for watching.